welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I'm doing Friday reads, but I also am doing my wrap up for the month of December. I read 10 books, which is amazing in the month of December, but 10 of those books, 7 of them were audiobooks, and I will tell you which ones were the audiobooks. And out of the 10, 3 of them were nonfiction. One was a graphic novel, one was a middle grade book, and one I finished the series. And let me just share what I read. So let's start out. I'm going to use my trusty journal. This is my journal. I just finished updating it for December. So I've started out the month listening to, I got this from Scrib for free. It was not with my credit because I already used my credit for the month. And I listened to The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie, I can't see it, Marie Kondo. Kondo? It looks like this. So it's very popular now. It's on the new releases. If you go to Barnes and Noble, you could see it on the new display. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. After I read it, I kept a whole bunch of notes. This is what I got as my notes, and I already started organizing my house. I already did the first 2 things, which was organizing, get rid of all my shirts and all my bottoms, so that is done in my closet. And she said only keep things that you love, and it has changed my closet a little bit. I will have to do a update on my closet because I did show you my before, so I have to do an update. I still have to work on my hanging clothes that are hanging, and that's as far as I got. So, and I also did my scrapbooking room, so I've been doing that as well. So, yes, audiobook is really good, listening to it. I listened to it in 2 days, and it was really good. Very life-changing book, so, yeah, I highly recommend it. So, okay, so the next book I went to another nonfiction book, and this one I also listened to on audio, and I also got this from Scrib for free, I think, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I listened to this in 2 days. It's Hands-Free Mama by Rachel Macy Stafford, and it looks like this. So I listened to this one. I really enjoyed it. It makes you think, mindful of your habits of being with your children, and like tomorrow they're getting so big that you shouldn't be on your phone so much, and it's really life-changing. And I liked the book so much that I bought the book and I gave it to my sister for a Christmas gift. So yeah, it was 4.5 stars, and I really enjoyed the narration of this one. So the next book I listened to on audio as well. I actually started reading it on my Kindle, and then I was like, you know what? Let me get the audio, and I got this audio. I joined Amazon, the one on Amazon, Audibles. I joined it again. So, yeah, I took Lindsay Ray's recommendation, and I joined for the 2 audiobooks because it was cheaper. So I bought 2 audiobooks for the 2 credits, and I'm using Audible. And I chose the first one, Carolyn Kepnes You, and that's this one. And I listened to this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. This one is about a guy named Joe. He works in a bookstore, which was really interesting. And he tells the story. And he's talking to you as if you are you. And so it was kind of interesting listening to him narrate the book. And he is a stalker. He's a serial killer. And he was abused as a child. And he uses social media to follow and stalk women. And this book is very dark and very creepy. It does have sexual content in it. It does talk negative about sex. And it also has a lot of profanity. And there is also a character in this book that is a lesbian. And only suggest this if for mature audiences. So yeah, I gave this book 4.5 stars, and there is a second book coming out. I don't remember the name of it, but it's coming out in 2016. So now my next book, I actually finished a series, and I don't know what it is about series. I don't like reading series books. I start out liking the book. I read the first book. I love it. I read the second book. It gets not as much as loving the first one. And the third book, I don't like at all. It's like a meh. So the book that I finished on audio was Monsters and Men by Patrick Ness, and it looks like this one. And sorry if you see this book, I accidentally didn't put this in my journal and I had to add it, so I added it in there. So this is the one I'm talking about, Monsters and Men. As I said, I gave it 3 stars. It repeats a lot. There's lots of chasing. It was a fast-paced book, but my attention span was in and out. I couldn't keep my attention, and I loved book 1. Book 1 was really good. Actually, Victoria is reading it now with the audio, and she's enjoying it because there's a dog that talks in book 1. Book 2, there is a horse that talks in book 2 and book 3, but it wasn't as good as book 1. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed, but I did finish the series. So, that's the second series that I didn't like the ending of it. So, okay, so the next book, I started a new series, also on audio. This one I didn't like as much. It's In the Woods by Tana French, and it looks like this one. And I gave it 2.5 stars. I listened to it on audio. It kept grabbing my attention, not grabbing my attention. I almost DNF'd it. It is about a child abuse. It's about rape. It's about murder of 12-year-olds. It's very graphic and it's very detailed. And it repeats over and over again of what happened to the child or the children. And it was not, if you're faint at heart, I wouldn't suggest reading this book. The audio, I had to get, I had the physical book and the audio, but the narration and the wording in this book is so graphic that I needed to get the audio in order to even get through the book. So I'm hoping that book 2 is better. They say it gets better, but I don't know if I like her writing style. So yeah, so that was it. So the next book I listened to on audio during Cramathon, and it's called Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. And this is a new adult book, and I had it on my Kindle and also on audio. And this is a very good book. I gave it 4 stars. It's about a girl in college who has an addiction to sex, and her boyfriend has an addiction to alcohol. And it was kind of interesting throughout. It's kind of really a strange mixture. And it did leave on a cliffhanger, so I do want to pick up book 2. So yeah, so it was pretty good. So, but it is mature content. It does have sexy times in it, and yeah. But I enjoyed it. It was a 4 stars. The next book I listened to on audio, and this was a nonfiction book. It's called God Will Carry You Through by Max Lucado, and that's this one here. And I got this from Scribd Audio. It's a very uplifting book. It's meant for Christians, but I did enjoy it even though I am Jewish. I did enjoy the concept. There is lots of references to scripture in the book, but I did not stop the audio to go to the book and whatever. I listened to this in 2 days. It does make you feel closer to God, and it was well worth my 2 days of listening to it. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you're Christian or even if you're Jewish. So they do reference Jesus in it, but you could still listen to it and get something out of the book. So the next book is a middle grade book. I read this one called Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. And it's this one here. And this one is about a girl who lives in Denmark. I gave it 4 stars. She lives in Denmark during World War II. And she hides her friend. And it's a very uplifting book. It gives young children, because it's meant for middle grade. It's great for young children to experience the fear and the hope and the courage. And I really highly recommend middle grade reading it. The next book that I read was Let It Snow by John Green, Lauren Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. And I didn't really like it very much. I gave it 3.5 stars. I read it. It is 3 short stories. It starts off with Maureen Johnson's story, and that was like a 3-star. And then John Green went up to a 4-star for me, and then when we got to Lauren Miracle, it went back down to a 3.5. So it was pretty interesting where the 3 stories did combine, and at the end, all the characters combined it at the end. So I thought that was pretty neat. But as far as the story went, I didn't really like it. So, yeah, 3.5 stars. 3.5, between 3 and 4, so 3.5. So, and the last book that I read, I squeezed this one in at the last minute. I actually read it yesterday. I squeezed in Chew, the graphic novel number 4, because that's what I was up to. And that's this one here. And it continues Chew's story. I only gave it 3 stars. It went down. It had a lot of sci-fi in it, and it was my least favorite of the 4 that I read. And I did like that his girlfriend was in it, his sister was in it, and his daughter was in it. So I did like that his family was more involved. And it did leave on a cliffhanger, so I do need to pick up the next book, which I already own. So I will be reading that in 2016. So that is all the books that I finished in December. However, I was in the middle of a couple of books. So I'm going to share the ones that I was in the middle of and tell you how far and what I'm thinking of them right now. So my audiobook, I am listening to... I just did the printout. Where is it? Okay, my audiobook, I am listening to Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I have it on my Kindle. I have the physical book. I have it on my audio. I bought it from Amazon. So I am very far. I'm almost finished. I am on page 500. Sorry, my kids are watching a movie and you hear the sound effects on the movie in the background. So I'm really, I had to get the audio. The writing style is too dense for me, and yeah, I really love the show, and I wanted to finish this for 2015, but it's not. I still have that much more to go. So I think it said 5 more hours, and 3, 6, it's 6 o'clock now, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to watch a movie, and I'm not going to finish it tonight. So, yeah, so that's my audiobook. So that's going to be done in January. On my Kindle, I am reading a book called The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons, and it looks like this. I was reading this with Read With Friends. I started it with them. It is a 600-page book. But on your Kindle, you don't know how far you're getting into it because you don't see the physical book. So that puts a hindrance on my on me. I love reading physical books, as you can tell. I like to have the book. So on my Kindle, I really like this book. I am at 200. But there was 600 pages in this book, so this is a long book. It's about World War II. I am enjoying it. If I had to rate the 200 pages that I read already, I would give it a 4-star. The reason is the names are driving me nuts, and some of the towns and stuff. But the story is really good, and I want to continue reading it. So yeah. So I might even take it out from the library so I could see the physical book. Yeah, I don't like reading on my Kindle. I don't know why. So, yeah, so that's it. Now, also, I am going to be starting on Monday. I'm going to be starting The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and this is my 2000, I already have a reading, this is my schedule. I'm going to start it on Monday, and this is on my 2016 reading list. It is also on my Goodreads group, so if you like to read this with me, I'm starting it on Monday. I already have my flags, and when I reach a flag, I'm going to be commenting my thoughts of this book. So that's what I am reading in January. So now, I also wanted to show you something that I made. This is going to be for my reading and for my YouTube channel to keep track of my videos. And I made a little calendar type thing. And I took a Dollar Tree calendar, the one that's big, that's 8 by 10, and I covered it with my own coverings, and I covered it up. So yeah, I'm going to show it to you. I took these off the internet, so they are not mine. And I printed them up, I laminated it, and I stuck it onto the book. So the front of my cover is going to look like this, and I had to use my Snoopy. I love Snoopy, so I love to read books, it says there. That's my front cover. And my back cover is my 2015 favorite books, and I printed out my favorite books, and it has my Mom to Triplets on the top. And then when I open up the book, so when I open it up, it says there's a reading challenge in here that I thought was really interesting that I found. It's called Read the Books You Buy, a Reading Challenge by 2016, and you can find that it's hosted by Book Date. So she has a blog, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Then I'm going to try to do that myself. Let's see how well that works. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And this purple thing here is actually a bag that I cut out, and this is washi tape. And then the back cover, I put that quote that I always say all the time: so many books, so little time. And the same thing, the washi, and this is the bag. So that's the cover of the book. Now, I already decorated January, so I'm going to show you what my January looks like. I decorated January with washi tape and some stickers and stuff. And this is my January. So I'm going to be using this for my YouTube channel. I did this, I have this notes here. This is January, and each day it says I'm going to start a new book. And I wrote it down. And my goal is to read more. So there you go, read more. And up here it says to do. And this is my books that I chose for January out of the jar. So, and then it's also on the next page. So, yeah, I'm going to plan on using this to put my list and where I'm reading and and I also wrote on here who I'm reading the books with. So, on January 4th, I'm starting The Glass Castle, and I'm reading with Mom to Triplets 04. On January 11th, I'm reading City of Bones with Mom to Triplets 04. So, I'm going to try that. On January 15th, my goal is to read The Woods with Janie from Bookworm's Buddy. And on January 18th, I'm reading Burial Rites with Read with Friends. So those are the books that I have penciled in that I want to start to read with them. And then I have other books that I am going to be reading as well. I have The Help picked out from my jar. I have The Gift from the Sea picked out from my jar. Redeeming Love picked out from my jar. Then I have Deal Breaker that I'm going to be reading with Janie from Bookworm's Buddy, but I don't know if we're going to be reading that in January or not, so that's a series. And that's it. So I have eight books picked out for January. So wish me luck. I'm going to try to get some audios because I read very slow. So we'll see. I'm definitely probably going to get The Help on audio. I think my library has it. So, and I joined Audibles, so I get 2 credits there, and I joined Scribs, so I get 1 credit there. So I have 3 credits that I can use plus the library to get audiobooks. So Yeah, that's where I'm getting them. So anyway, thank you for watching, and have a happy reading, and Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!